This is why we go to these sort of meets. Like, I want you guys to be able to run under pressure. I know at the NAIA level, you can sort of dominate a little bit better, but when you go to these big meets with these Division I schools, everybody's either at your level or better than you. So I wanted them to respond. So the day we came back on the second day, they did. The guys 4x1 qualified for nationals, the men's 4x4 qualified for nationals. We had a big day the second day.
Hey, what's up, Tiger fans? This is Khalil back with another episode of Inside CU Sports. This time we are going to join the track team. We're going to talk to Coach Ray and Kam Ward.
My name is Ranard Adkison. I'm the head track and field coach here at Campbellsville University. This is my first year. Got hired back in July of 2024 from Dallas, Texas. I'm in my 19th year of coaching every region of the U.S., from the East Coast to the West Coast, South, Midwest. So been doing this a long time, and now I'm a Tiger. So this is my second go around as head coach. My first head coaching job was at Talladega University in Alabama. Also an NAIA school. Outside of that, I've always coached at the Division I level as an assistant coach.
My name's Kam Ward. I'm a freshman here at Campbellsville. I'm a business administration major. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm a track athlete. I run all the sprints and I long jump.
So the thing I love about coaching is just developing young athletes. I feel, coaches were a huge influence in my athletic career and just, becoming a man and a productive citizen. So I love the fact that you can nurture an athlete and help them grow, not just in the classroom or not just on, the track, but just in life in general, learning character, leadership, responsibility. And that's just something that I received as an athlete, and it's something that I love doing as a coach.
I've learned that just independence. I'd say before I came here, I wasn't as independent, and then just coming here, I've had to be really independent with playing two sports especially, and staying on top of schoolwork and all that. That's been probably the biggest thing.
I got hired in late July, so this group, majority of them are athletes that I didn't recruit. So one of the things that I talk to them about is my expectations, what I'm expecting from them, and to be honest, it's an evaluation year. When the previous coach stepped away, a lot of the athletes transferred, which is common, especially in today's collegiate athletics, transfer portal and everything. So the athletes that did remain, they knew what the mission was, the goal, my expectations. I feel like right now we do have a young team. Was able to bring in some mid-year transfers, and then back in August I was able to recruit a small group, so team's doing well, and I just feel like after this year, hopefully next year it will be my first recruiting class, and my goal is to win a national championship, have some individual national champions, so that's the way I'm recruiting, and that's what the team knows that I expect, and we work hard every day, and hopefully we'll achieve that in the next couple of years. So when I recruit, obviously the number one thing is ability. I'm looking for athletes that are able to compete at the collegiate level. I'm looking for leaders, I'm looking for kids with character, I'm looking for kids that are gonna fit into this program. May not get the most talented athletes, but if I get an athlete that's gonna work hard and that's gonna trust the process and be committed, then that's all I ask.
I'd say the beginning of the week, Mondays and Tuesdays are really big load-up days for track. Wednesdays, not as hard. And then there's always a day break before our meet. So we take a day off to rest and just get right for our meets. And then football, film studies, those are about every day. We go have meetings about every day, and then we'd go to practice and we'd lift 2 to 3 times a week. Just get ready for the games. Scheduling, having to write stuff down is probably the biggest thing, because if not, I'd be running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I think that's the main thing, and also diet with early sports. I just have to diet right, because if not, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Going into the season, our conference is no joke. We have Campbellsville University, they're the defending men's national champions. They're women. They just won the women's indoor championship. So the bar is high in our conference. So our athletes know that, and they know what the goal is. They know what we expect out of them. And to be honest, if we're gonna be a national champion, that's the type of team that we're gonna have to go toe-to-toe with. And right now, we have a young team. We do have some upperclassmen, but the majority of our team is young. The future is bright. Like I said, the goal is to be one of the top teams in the country, and we have the bar set high in our conference, so we're gonna go after that. Georgia Tech went well. It was one of our biggest meets outside of postseason. Day one, I think the athletes were just a little tad bit, I don't want to say intimidated, but there were some big dogs there. We were like one of 3 NAIA schools. So all the other schools were Division I's. We had a couple schools from Power 5 programs. So that first day was a little shaky. Our 2 top hurdlers, they both ended up banging a hurdle pretty bad that threw their race off, so they didn't get the results they wanted. The sprinters, they did pretty decent, but had a talk with them, let them know what the goal was, and told them, this is why we go to these sort of meets. I want you guys to be able to run under pressure. I know at the NAIA level, you can sort of dominate a little bit better, but when you go to these big meets with these Division I schools, everybody's either at your level or better than you. So I wanted them to respond. So the day we came back on the second day, they did. The guys 4x1 qualified for nationals, the men's 4x4 qualified for nationals. We had a big day the second day. So this week, we're stepping it up even more. We're gonna go to Penn Relays, and that's one of the most prestigious track meets in the US. 60,000 fans, 170 schools. So I feel like Georgia Tech sort of set them up for this. So now when they go into Penn Relays, even though it's gonna be bigger and better competition, it's better than just going from, small meet to now you're with the big dog. So I feel like Georgia Tech set us up pretty well for Penn Relays, and we'll get to see what we do at Penn, and then after Penn, we'll get ready for the postseason. Now, going into the postseason, it won't seem as intimidating. Coming from Georgia Tech and then Penn Relays. Now, when you go into conference, even though you're competing against Cumberland, like I said, they're the defending champions, you already know how to compete under pressure. So I feel like, Georgia Tech set us up perfectly for that.
Georgia Tech, it was good. I'm coming back off a hamstring injury, so it was my first big meet. I was really nervous, not thinking I could go out there, all those big D1 dudes. But I ran the open 4, and I did okay, and then I came back in the relay and bounced back, and we ended up making nationals, so that was fun.
I have a philosophy that I go by, and for me, I communicate that with the team, and I call it the 3 C's. So the 3 C's are communication, commitment, and collaboration. So I feel like if you follow that structure, you'll have a successful program. And so, I stress with my team, communication. You gotta be able to communicate with me as a coach, gotta be able to communicate with your teachers, with administrations, collaboration. We're all in this. It's not just a track team, it's the athletic department, it's the staff, it's the teachers, the coaches, the parents. And then commitment. You gotta be committed. Obviously you're a student, but you're a student athlete. So you gotta be committed to showing up every day, be committed to supporting your teammates, be committed to doing what you gotta do in the classroom, making sure that you're eligible. So if you follow those 3 C's, commitment, collaboration, and communication, I feel like, you'll have a successful program. And that's my philosophy. And I stand by that, and it's always worked. So I'm gonna continue to implement that.
I said the biggest thing when getting through this college experience is support, just finding connections, and staying connected really is a big thing, especially when going through a first year in college. It's just gonna help you get through it.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Inside CU Sports. Hope you enjoy it. Please stay tuned for more.